Hello and welcome back to Math with Tiffany. Today we're covering the quadratic equation, which is x equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. Now then, where do these a's, b's, and c's come from? They come from our base equation that we did in our factoring videos. The ax squared plus or minus bx plus or minus c equals 0. So your a corresponds to your coefficient next to your x squared, your b corresponds to the coefficient next to your x, and your c corresponds to just the constant by itself without a variable attached to it. So for example, if we had the equation minus 6x plus x squared minus, why did I put an equal sign? Minus 32 equals 0. You know that you can rearrange this so that way your a, b's, and c's line up to our equation. So you have x squared minus 6x minus 32 equals 0. Alright, so your a is 1. So there's not a coefficient, it's 1. We just leave it off to save space. Your b is negative 6, because remember this negative here goes with the 6, and same with the 32. So your c is negative 32. So then let's plug this into our quadratic formula to see what the answer is. So you have x equals the opposite of b. So because this is negative b and your b is already negative, it'll be positive. So 6 plus or minus the square root of negative 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 36 all divided by 2. 2 times 1. Okay, if you notice, I put parentheses around my negative x squared. This is so that you don't forget to, when you're entering in your calculator, to put parentheses. Because, let's do it in red. Negative 6 squared does not equal, open parentheses, negative 6, close parentheses squared. They don't equal each other. This is because this is telling your calculator to do the opposite of 6 squared. So it does a 6 squared first, and then plugs the negative onto it. So negative 36 and does not equal. And this tells your calculator over here to do negative 6 times negative 6. So actually negative 6 squared, which is positive 36. And you want the positive number, so remember to put in your parentheses in your calculator when you're using it. So let's change back to blue. You have x equals 6 plus or minus square root of 36 plus, because this plus goes to the negative, so negative times negative is a positive, so is 144 divided by 2 is 180. So this equals 6 plus or minus the square root of 180 divided by 2. Now at this point in your equation, if you're showing this by hand and you want to make sure you're doing both of these, I would split this into two equations. So you have 6 plus the square root of 188 divided by 2 on one side, or 6 minus the square root of 188 on the other. So x equals 6 plus that divided by 2, or 6 minus that divided by 2. And then you just plug that into your calculator. X is approximately 9.856, or negative 3.856. You use the quadratic equation when you're going to get numbers like this. So yeah, that's how you use the quadratic equation and what to be careful about. And so yeah. Thank you for checking in with Math with Tiffany.